Hello, my name is Erin Smith and I'm going to be presenting on building mobile shortcut icons. Icons can be very effective when you are in a mobile application as the screens are smaller and it can just help communicate things more simply and sometimes more effectively. So we're going to go over how that can be done. When I was doing research, W3 Schools had a really good tutorial on how this is done and had several resources. So I'll be using that as my main source for this presentation. I'm going to talk about two purposes for adding icons today. The first will be basic icon usage and the second will be social media icon usage. So when we start, from W3 Schools, there are three main sources for icons, and the first is Font Awesome Icons, the second is Bootstrap Icons, and the third is Google Icons. And as you can see, they each have a link that is required to have in the head of the HTML page. This is like referencing any of your style sheets, having those links, or images, having those links. So these links will be required if you use their icons in the head of the style sheet. So to start with, in your HTML, you see that we have our title. We're going to be working with Font Awesome Icons to start with. You have your meta with your viewpoint and width of the device. So next you have your link section, and this is how you reference how you link the font awesome icons. It will be the same link regardless of any icon that you use from them or from the other two sources. And that is again in your head section of your HTML. The first icon we're going to work with is a birthday cake because they're awesome and I had some today, so I want to share it with you in my HTML. So you use either span or an I element in your HTML to include your icon. So in this case I'm doing an I class, and you designate it as FA for Font Awesome, and then they have a whole list and table of the icons and then have a descriptor for it, kind of like with a copyright symbol or a degree symbol. They have designated words for each of their icons. So the first one, I have it just basic and simple, and then the next two lines you see I style it with two different font sizes. And then you can even go a further step and play with the color with your styling. So to see that all, we have our birthday cake, and then it will show up, and that's how the icon looks up from the Font Awesome icon link. So to play with it even further, let's say we want it in a button. So I'm saying push the button for cake, and so you have the button and style, and you style your button however you like, and then you include the I and class, and then the designation for the Font Awesome birthday cake, and then close your button element, and then it looks like that. Okay, so another reason to use icons is you could interchange those for bullet points. Instead of having your basic bullet point, you can use them to have a different icon there. So as you can see, I have it in the UL element and then the LI element to have bullet points, and that's how it shows up. And the middle one, I only did a screenshot, but that actually is a moving icon. It goes in a circle. So that could be helpful for whatever design you are going for, and they have a lot of options to go for as well. Another way to use the icon is to use it as a graphic in your design. So in this case, I have it as in a paragraph element, and you see again I use the I element to include, and I have my FA quote left, etc. And it's a little bit longer because I have it stacked. I have it in a border box, which is very easy to do and fun to play with as well. And so this one looks like this. So it has a really sharp look using a quote. So something to consider for including icons in your web design. Okay, moving on to social media. It's a similar thing that we start with in our HTML. You need to include your link to the, again, I'm using Font Awesome for this example. Have that link under the head element. So I'm going to use Twitter in this example. So we use an ahref and whatever it's going to be pointing to. And then in your class, have your FA for Font Awesome again, FA Twitter. And so we're going to make it look like that. So I did this in the HTML, but we could also do this in a style sheet. So I have a blanket styling for all of my icons. So if I were to use Twitter and Facebook and Snapchat and anything I wanted, this is how I would do my blanket styling for it. So I can play with the padding, font size, width, the text alignment, decoration, and the margin, and can go with several looks for that. And then to make it more specific, here's my FA Twitter. So I now have my background color and the color of the actual icon. And now, instead of it just being black and white like the cake icon was, it looks like the actual Twitter icon. So and you can do that with all of those, not just the social media, but it's a little more important with the social media because it's part of the brand. So you can play with it even further. Again, this is the blanket styling for all of the social media, for the social media icons in this case. So again, playing with the padding, font size, width. And then the last one, you see that the border radius is now included, and it looks like a circle instead of a square, which could really make a difference if that's a design element you are going for your web page. So going back, you can either do the square or the circle or rounded corners. There's a lot of versatility with how you can use the icons on your web page. So again, we have these 3 great links for references of using icons. There's a really nice list, and it has been very user-friendly for me. And so I hope you try it out and hope you can have fun in using icons in your web design. Thanks.